I think one of the great things that NAA does is really try to include students, and the research and things that they do are so very important to natural areas preservation. And the next slate of awards relate to the student competition for both posters and oral presentations. And when you hear your name called, if you'll just come on up, and I'm going to go through them right now. We have a few folks who I know who are unable to make it related to the poster awards. Third place for best poster is Abe Stone. Second place is Maggie Anderson. And first place is Alyssa Iverson. Alyssa, I think you're here. Great. Come on up, Alyssa. You can come on right over here. And I'm going to embarrass myself. I met her tonight and I said, "Congratulations on your award." And she said, "What award?" And I thought, oh my gosh, I hope I have the right person. And I do. For the oral presentations, we have Alyssa Johnson in third place. Second place, all right. Come on up. Second place is Diana Soteropoulos. You here, Diana? Is Diana here? Oh, come on, there she is. Come on up. Did I say it correctly, Diana? It's this close, okay. Well, I get to say it incorrectly again because Diana gave 2 presentations, and she's also the first place winner for our oral presentations as well. So give them a big round of applause. Did you want us over here? Oh, I'm doing this wrong again.
Okay, here we go. All right, and tonight I am excited to be presenting our newest award, the Rising Leader Award. This is a brand new award for NAA. The Natural Areas Association recognizes younger professionals who early in their career demonstrate excellence in research, protection, and stewardship of natural areas. The NAA's Rising Leader Award is given in recognition of an individual who in a relatively short amount of time has developed and/or implemented a new idea that addresses an old issue in natural areas research, protection, or stewardship, or who has made some other significant impact at an early career stage. While not yet at their professional peak, Rising Leader nominees have already inspired others with their innovative thinking, collaborative efforts, and inclusive approaches. The Rising Leader Award recognizes an outstanding natural areas practitioner who is within the first 10 years of their professional career. The recipient of the 2022 Rising Leader Award is Sam King. In just the first decade of his young career with the Tennessee Division of Natural Areas, Sam King has already achieved great success as a natural area steward. His oversight of the division's prescribed fire program has resulted in acquisition of equipment and a focus on training, resulting in expanded prescribed fire capacity and increased burn crew safety. Under Sam's leadership, these changes have resulted in an annual increase in average acres burned from 500 to 2,000. Improved ecological outcomes have followed, since division burn crews can now take advantage of optimal fire windows rather than depend on the availability of partner resources to conduct burns. Several new large restoration projects are now underway as a result of increased fire capacity, thanks to Sam. Sam has also shown great creativity with outreach events, volunteer work days, and media appearances to help build strong partnerships that provide the division with increased resources to pull off larger scale burns. His handling of media requests and outreach to communicate about the need for preserving native landscapes, controlling invasive species, and using prescribed fire have been exceptional. Sam has been an outstanding division representative on the Tennessee Prescribed Fire and Invasive Plant Councils, and also an exemplary administrator of the Tennessee State Parks License Plate IRIS Fund. This special fund has grown by leaps and bounds under his guidance, enabling numerous ecological improvement projects on state parks. And finally, Sam has done a great job in developing a state parks landscaping guide focusing on native plants that park managers now routinely use to design ecologically appropriate plantings. It is now my great pleasure to introduce to you the NAA's first Rising Leader Award recipient, Samuel King.
Well, this is extremely humbling, and I am so thankful for this award and this opportunity. I'll start by thanking NAA, the staff and the board, for selecting me out of this amazing group of professionals. I also would be in big trouble if I didn't thank all the people that have kind of guided me and taught me everything that I've learned in the profession. Some of them here, Jason, Dr. Loeb, Roger, and then countless other professors, mentors, advisors, supervisors, colleagues that couldn't be here. I also have to admit that in light of hearing like Tom's wonderful speech and like all these other awards, being selected at this point in your career feels a lot like a challenge. That comes with some pretty heavy pressure. So, in the spirit of fairness, I'm going to spread that pressure to everybody here tonight, and give everybody kind of a short challenge so I'm not the only one leaving here with heavy shoulders. When I was little, my parents sent me to basketball camp because I was tall and because they wanted me out of the house. So, go down, and I remember distinctly a coach yelling that you will never be the same tomorrow as you are today. You will either wake up and choose to be better, or you will let complacency make you worse. And that really stuck with me as a little kid, enough that I still think about that a lot. And so, for you all, let's wake up tomorrow and choose. Never stop exploring our natural world. Never stop learning how to deal with the problems that come up in this profession. And never stop caring, not only about our natural resources and caring about this profession, but caring about each other. So, thank you all so much. This has been a great week. I'm ecstatic to be here, and look forward to seeing y'all for the rest of my career. So.
Congratulations, Sam. It's been really an exciting year for the committee and the board and the staff to be thinking about awards in this way. So we're really excited to be giving the first one to you. All right, Roger, you're back up on stage.
Oh boy, that's a tough act to follow, Sam. Thanks, Lisa. Well, the award celebrations continue, and we're going back to the Carl N. Becker Award. And as you remember, this is the award given in recognition of excellence and achievement in managing the natural resources of reserves, parks, wilderness, and other protected areas. So to that effect, it's no secret that our next recipient is one of Indiana's greatest champion for natural areas. The recipient of the 2022 Carl N. Becker Stewardship Award is Ellen Jackart. Over her over an impactful career spanning more than 40 years, Ellen has poured her energy, passion, heart, and soul into the restoration and stewardship of natural areas in her home state of Indiana. From helping start the Central Indiana Land Trust to serving as a botanist with the Forest Service and directing stewardship with the Nature Conservancy, and in continuing to serve after retirement as director of the Indiana Native Plant Society. She really has done it all. There are some highlights in this incredible career as an iconic natural areas steward and conservation leader in the Hoosier State. During her 4-decade career, Ellen has been a champion of natural areas protection, restoration, and stewardship, both in the public and private sectors. Early in her career, she spearheaded the creation of the Central Indiana Land Trust, serving as this young organization's first board president. Since then, CILTI, as the land trust is known, has protected more than 6,500 acres of natural areas. As a botanist with the U.S. Forest Service, she influenced a major increase on the Wayne Hoosier National Forest's controlled burning program. She also saw a need for native seeds in national forest restoration work and facilitated startup of a native plant nursery. We heard a little bit about that at dinner tonight, and it was quite impressive. During a 20-year tenure with the Nature Conservancy in Indiana, Ellen oversaw restoration of the immensely successful Kankakee Sands Preserve, an 8,400-acre prairie and wetland restoration project now home to a herd of American bison. And I forget the conference I was at, but I've seen presentations on that, and it's really impressive. After retiring from TNC, Ellen continues to serve in leadership and advocacy roles with the Indiana Native Plant Society and gets much of the credit for passage of a state law banning the sale of invasive plants in the commercial nursery trade. No small feat. As you can see from a natural area stewardship standpoint, Ellen has made a tremendous impact. Her nominator for this award, Cliff Chapman of the Central Indiana Land Trust, provided insight into Ellen's success when he wrote the following. Ellen possesses 2 superpowers beyond technical expertise and leadership abilities. These are 1, a great humility and propensity for encouraging coworkers and colleagues, allowing them to shine and be more successful. And 2, her innate ability to manage hectic situations calmly, rising above difficulties, keeping the long-range goal in mind. It's now my great pleasure to introduce you to NAA's 2022 Carl N. Becker Stewardship Award, Ellen Jacquard. Ellen, come on up, please.
Thank you so much. This is absolutely overwhelming. When I first got the call telling me that I was going to be receiving this incredible honor, I wasn't sure they had the number right or the name, and it just, I mean, Roger Becker is a conservation hero, and to receive this award means a lot for someone whose life was really stewardship in my career. And I want to thank the Natural Areas Association, the awards committee, for choosing me. It puts me in the company of so many friends and colleagues who have received this in the past, and it's hard to believe that I've been put in their company. So thank you so much. When I heard about this, it made me think back, sort of the prism that was mentioned earlier of like, where did this come from? How did I get to this place in my life and receiving this? And it all came down to one really fortunate coincidence. I had a friend named Art Spingarn, and some of you folks here remember Art. He was my friend in graduate school. He graduated from University of Wisconsin a year before I did. And he was out in the great world, and he landed a job a real permanent full-time job, the kind we all look for. And I was doing sort of like little internships that were not great once I graduated. And we kept in touch, and he kept telling me the things he was doing. And it sounded amazing. He was doing prescribed fires, and he was doing rare plant inventories, and he was assessing natural areas, and he was stomping through bogs. And the more I heard, the more I said, I want to do what you're doing. What is your job? I work for the Natural Heritage Program in Indiana and the Division of Nature Preserves and where it is housed. And I said, how do I get that job? And he said, well, I was just talking to my boss today, and we need an intern position, entry level, but we need someone to do rare plant inventory in southern Indiana. And he had his boss call me, Jim Aldrich, talk to me for 5 minutes, and he hired me, based largely on Art's recommendation. And the honest truth was, I was fresh out of grad school. I had no skills and no experience. And I couldn't have named 10 common plants of southern Indiana, let alone look for rare plants. I was a physiological ecologist. But they hired me. They hired me based on Art's say-so and my potential. And in that time, the 9 months I was with Division of Nature Preserves, I met every single employer that took me through the entirety of my career. I helped on a little research project next to coal mine lands to look for dewatering impacts on a nature preserve. And that led to the Research Institute hiring me when I finished my internship so I could continue it. And I met and worked with the Forest Service folks because they had contracted to nature preserves to create the special areas on the Hoosier National Forest. And so I became the first botanist for the Wayne Hoosier National Forest. And I met the Nature Conservancy, where I spent most of my career doing stewardship. And all because of this little 9-month internship. And so I want to say that for those of you who are early in your career, you're some of the very impressive students that are here tonight, if you get a short-term position, never take it for granted. Get everything out of it that you can. Ask questions. Introduce yourself to everyone. Ask what they do. And you'll find yourself networking your way into the kind of career that I was able to have and really loved. And if you're somebody who gives internships, short-term positions, remember that getting a person in an internship may seem like a minor thing to you, but it can turn someone's whole life around. It sure did for me. And so thank you to all of you. This is just a wonderful honor, and I really appreciate it.
As I begin to present our final award of the evening, I want to shift your attention back to the George B. Fell Lifetime Achievement Award. As previously mentioned, this award is the association's highest, and it is reserved for exceptional achievement to the protection of ecologically significant landscapes. Our next recipient is known for their fierce efforts to protect Wisconsin's natural areas. The recipient of the 2022 George B. Fell Lifetime Achievement Award is Thomas Meyer. Thomas Meyer will celebrate his 39th work anniversary in 2023, starting from a humble beginning in 1984 as a graduate student intern in the newly created Natural Heritage Program in the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. He secured a permanent position with the Heritage Program as the data manager and assistant botanist, and in 1994 joined the DNR's State Natural Areas Program. Thomas was instrumental in developing the Wisconsin SNA program into one of the country's largest, growing 274 sites and 120,000 acres in 1994 into 692 sites and more than 400,000 acres today. Throughout his long career, colleagues have praised Thomas as the unsung heart of the Wisconsin State Natural Areas Program. Here are some additional highlights from Thomas's life's work. Thomas has led policy development for the Wisconsin State Natural Areas Program and served as the program liaison with the Natural Areas Preservation Council, which advises the Department of Natural Resources and formulates policies to select, acquire, manage, and preserve natural areas. Thomas has led efforts to secure the long-term protection of state natural areas through developing and implementing governor-approved Articles of Dedication, Wisconsin's strongest form of land protection. To date, no dedicated lands have been withdrawn from the SNA system. Thomas has played a central role in awarding significant state and federal grant funds to nonprofit partners who own and manage many Wisconsin state natural areas, and has designed prioritization criteria for grant applications through Wisconsin's Knowles-Nelson Stewardship Grant Program, evaluated more than 350 land purchases, visited most of those sites, and often administered federal matching funds to help DNR's partner organizations preserve more than 24,000 acres in 28 years. Thomas has been a significant contributor to public television documentaries highlighting the importance and beauty of state natural areas. He worked with PBS Wisconsin on Wisconsin Scenic Treasures, Southern Vistas, which received a 2021 Midwest Emmy Award for Outstanding Achievement for Cultural Documentary Programs. Thomas understands that building public support for SNA programs means that the public must learn about, view, and get to experience these properties along with the various plants and animals that they support. Thomas has been one of the primary outreach advocates for the SNA program in Wisconsin. His outreach efforts have been vital to the public's awareness and willingness to donate to the SNA program. To further emphasize his actions, Thomas was the editor, sole photographer, and co-author of the popular SNA guidebook Wisconsin, Naturally, published in 2003, which helped connect people to these important places. Thomas has served two different times on the board of directors of the Natural Areas Association and hosted our 2003 Natural Areas Conference in Madison. And he's unable to join us this evening, but he did share a video with us to accept this honor.
Hello to my friends and colleagues there on the shores of Lake Superior in Duluth. I hope this year's Natural Areas Conference is full of learning and fellowship. Since joining the association back in 1984, I tried to attend as many Natural Areas conferences as I could because I always came away re-energized and hopeful. I'm sorry I can't be there with you today, but instead, I'm here with my grandson, Reese. We're going to take a little walk through one of my favorite places, Germain Hemlock's State Natural Area. This is an old-growth mesic hardwood stand not far from where Reese lives in Rhinelander. Come on along. What an honor to be chosen to receive this year's George Fell Award. I'm truly humbled. You've probably heard the saying, if I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. It was made famous by Sir Isaac Newton, and I think it's a metaphor that simply means we make progress by building on the work of those who came before us. Although I've spent my career working to protect natural areas here in Wisconsin, the heavy lifting was really done long before I arrived. Our SNA program was created by the legislature in 1951, making it the oldest statewide protection program in the nation. The conservationists of that time conceived of and built an ark that holds the best of Wisconsin's ecosystems. Our Natural Areas program was mature and was well on course when I joined the team. I merely placed a light hand on the wheel at times, helping to steer through calm seas and the occasional rough water along the way. As a fourth-generation Wisconsinite, I like connections to the past. My fate in the natural areas field was bound early on to one of those giants on whose shoulders I stand. He's my friend, a mentor, and a namesake of this place. His name's Cliff Germain. Cliff was hired as Wisconsin's first SNA program director back in the mid-1960s. He, along with George Fell in Illinois, was a driving force behind the creation of the Natural Areas Association in 1978. That's Cliff on the left, with George Fell standing next to him at Chewocki Prairie State Natural Area in 1966. And here's a picture of me and Cliff at the Spring Green Preserve SNA in 2019. 53 years later. In 1987, NAA honored Cliff with its very first George Fell Award. Receiving the same award 35 years after Cliff, well, it makes it all the more special. By the way, Cliff's still hanging in there. He's living in his own home. Next year, he'll celebrate his 100th birthday. I'm proud of what Wisconsin's SNA program has accomplished over the past 71 years and the 30 years that I've been a part of it. We've grown the program to one of the largest and most successful in the nation, with nearly 700 sites protecting more than 400,000 acres of land, from old-growth forests to prairies to wetlands and lakes and everything in between. It's important to know that ours is a partnership program between the DNR, Department of Natural Resources, and more than 50 collaborators, including federal agencies like the U.S. Forest Service, other state agencies, and the University of Wisconsin, and our land trust community, including the Nature Conservancy. Thanks to all of them for making our program a success. Although I'm proud of the natural areas I've helped protect, my greatest professional joy and satisfaction has been sharing the wonder of these special places with others. I've really been fortunate to have been able to unleash my creative side through photography and writing, and by working with PBS Wisconsin and the Wisconsin Natural Resources magazine to bring natural areas to the people of Wisconsin. One of the very, very best perks of my job is leading field trips to places like this, Germain Hemlocks, for the Natural Resources Foundation. There, I can interact one-on-one with people and have them hold nature in their hands. Although this year's Fell Award has my name on it, everything I've done to promote natural areas was part of a small, tight-knit SNA team. Thanks to my now retired colleagues, Randy Hoffman, Mark Martin, Paul Matthew, and to my current teammates, Dawn Heinbaugh, Dave Sample, and Matt Zine. We work well together, and it shows. Lastly, no one can pursue a labor of love for 3 decades without support from family. To my sons, Aaron and Ben, and to my wife, Mary, my wife and partner of 40 years, thanks to you. So although we may stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, I think we do so for those who come after us. Right, Reese?
Thomas couldn't be here this evening to accept his award, but his son Ben is here along with Reese.
I'll be brief. Thank you, Lisa. I am not Thomas Meyer, neither is he. And as a matter of fact, if you think either of us look old enough to have won a Lifetime Achievement Award, we've got bigger problems. I want to make just a very brief mention of the reason my dad is not here tonight. He's in the state of Maine. He is on a bicycle. He is participating in something called the New England Parkinson's Ride, which raises money for the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's research. You see, my mom was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease about 5 or 6 years ago, and frankly, that cruel disease, its onset has been fairly quick for her, but throughout that entire time, my dad rather, has been her steadfast companion and her greatest supporter, and that's what he's doing this week. He's riding with her and with a family friend, and I'm proud to say that they've, in this year alone, have raised more than $13,000 for Parkinson's research. So that's where he is. So, thank you. So my role here is simply as a messenger of thanks and a messenger of gratitude and a messenger of humility on behalf of our family and friends and on behalf of my father. So thank you very much.
And Ben was also the creator of that video, which was really pretty sweet. How about that? Thank you, Ben, so much. Wonderful. All right, folks, that's it. We gave a lot of awards this evening. We celebrated some pretty special people, and I just wanted to make note of the fact that I want to go back to that theme from the week, which is recognizing the hard work that each and every one of you in this room does. You do the hard work, you are the unsung heroes, and I feel very strongly that it's important to come together and celebrate what we do. The conference is a great way to celebrate our hard work. We will be missing everybody in 2023, but we will be planning and looking forward to 2024 to celebrate everything, all the good work that you do. I would like to take a moment this evening, before it comes to a close, to acknowledge somebody else very special in this room. Everybody is very special in their own unique ways. Mr. Rick Myers, who is sitting here with us today. Rick is the Natural Area Stewardship Manager for the Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation. And what you probably don't realize is that Rick, for 13 years, has been the chair of our NAA Awards Committee. And he's going to be stepping down this year, which is very fair. He's worked very hard for this organization as a volunteer in many ways. But in this particular capacity, Rick brought tremendous professionalism and thoughtfulness to his role as committee chair and really transformed the process which the committee goes through every year to select awardees. It is thoughtful, it is unbiased, and it is based, it brings credibility, such credibility to this organization and the awards celebration. So we're grateful, Rick, for everything you always do for this organization, but mostly for your passion and dependability. So thank you, Rick. So I want to thank you all for being here again and for celebrating all of these great people. As 2023 approaches, and we look forward to being together in 2024, be thinking about colleagues who might fit the criteria of some of these awards. There are many, many more of you out there deserving. The nomination form is on the website, so please take a look. And again, I want to congratulate each of our recipients. It was our honor to be able to celebrate you this evening. Thank you for acting out NAA's mission to protect biodiversity for current and future generations.